Okay, the product rule. So when you're taking the derivative of two things multiplied by each other, it gets a little more complicated. So the product rule is this. If you have a function f of x where you have g of x, one function times another function h of x, okay? To find the first derivative of that function, it's the first times the first derivative of the second plus the second times the first derivative of the first. That is the product rule. So, if your function is f of x equals x squared times the square root of x, then your first derivative of that would be x squared. What's the first derivative of the square root of x? What is the square root of x written in? Yeah. So it's x to the 1/2. So the first derivative is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. And then we're going to add on to that x to the 1/2, because that's what the square root of x is, times the first derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Now let's simplify that bad boy. So what's x squared over x to the negative, or what's 2 plus negative 1/2? 3/2, right? 2 plus negative 1/2 is 4/2, plus negative 1/2 is 3/2, plus 2x to the 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. I said 1/2 plus 1/2, didn't I? Yeah, I'm sorry for confusing you. So this would be 2.5 x to the 3/2 power, correct? Okay. Now let's go do this a different way. Let's do this without the product rule. What's x to the second times x to the 1/2? X to the 5/2, right? So the first derivative of that would be 5/2 x to the 3/2, which is the same as that. So I just showed you how the product rule will get you the same thing as doing this another way. Okay? So you're saying, well, we don't need the product rule. Well, yeah, we need the product rule. We need the product rule for problems like this. And I don't like how they have them written. I think this should be written as x to the negative second times the cosine of x, because people think that this can be multiplied by this, which it cannot be. Okay? They mean this times that. So I think you should write that this way. Okay? How do we do the product rule for this? We get x to the negative second times, what's the first derivative of cosine of x? Negative sine of x. Plus negative 2x to the negative third cosine of x. Okay? So in the end, it's negative x to the negative 2 sine of x minus 2x to the negative third cosine of x, right? Okay.
How come you got the negative in front of the right away? Where'd you get that?
From this right there.
And where'd you get? Oh, okay, never mind. I got it.
Okay. Let's do this one. What's the first derivative? Or, well, we leave square root of x alone if we're finding the first derivative. And then what's the first derivative of sine? Cosine of x. Plus sine of x times, what's the first derivative of the square root of x? 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Okay? So this would be the square root of x, cosine of x, plus sine of x over 2 square root of x is basically what it would be. I don't know if they'll let you keep the square root on the bottom or not. We'll see when the first person gets it right or wrong. They'll let everybody else know. Okay, so we can do that, right? Okay, now then they'll give us tables. And they'll say, what is f of x times g of x? Well, f of x times g of x is f of x g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. Hello. I don't know. I don't hear him in the hallway. No, I don't have any inkling. Sorry. Bye. Okay, so what we need to do is just put these numbers in for the appropriate spots. So f of x is -4, g prime of x is 8, g of x is 13, f prime of x is 0. Well, 13 times 0 is 0, so this would be -32. See how easy that is?
Yeah.
So you'd do the same for this one. So it'd be 7 times 0 plus -1 times 4, which is -4. Okay? So that's what we're doing in the second half, is doing the product rule and product rule with tables.